Hi everybody, this is Cindy from Prairie Dog Pals. I know it's been a week or two since I've done another video. I was trying to do it every week, but life's just I'm getting caught up in life. We've had a lot going on this winter season, and anybody who knows us knows that we travel and we're campground workers. We work from one campground to another. This winter season, well, we've been here a little longer than we usually are. Usually you're somewhere 4 to 6 months. Gosh, I guess we got here mid-October of last year. So we've had a lot going on with work, which is stressful anyway. We're on our third manager for this campground, which always brings on stress. You know, you're never sure who's going to be the new manager coming in, what their personality is, whether it's going to mesh with your personality. That's always stress, and brings on stress in your life. So we've been through that. This is our third manager. We're all getting to know each other. But Alec and I are going to be leaving here in about, gosh, this is April 2nd, I think. We're going to be leaving April 20th-ish. To head to West Yellowstone. We've already talked to West Yellowstone. They've got a lot going on up there, so we're excited about getting there. But in packing up to move and everything, that brings on stress too. And of course, we've had our fair share of personal things that have been going on this year. We had a death in the family. We have had some RV issues that we've been having to get fixed and worked on, and we've had some car issues, which has brought on stress too. So we've been dealing with that. One thing at a time, right? That's all we can do. We just have to try not to let it overwhelm us. So we were talking in the office yesterday, matter of fact, about stress in our lives. And I'm big into essential oils and finding a more natural, holistic way of dealing with things. And I was trying to find some sort of essential oil or something for anxiety, because I've been having a lot of anxiety lately. And I think it just all stems from life, all the issues we've had going on, all the transferring of managers and everything here at the park brings on stress. And then of course all the RV mechanical issues that have been going on, and it just seems to be one right after another. And then us getting ready to travel. And I was talking to one of the camp workers' daughter, who is incredible, by the way. I was talking to her about anxiety and stress when we travel. And she started asking me questions. And it really made me stop and think. She said, what is it? Why do you feel this stress when y'all get in the RV to travel? Well, it's real interesting because Alec gets stressed out when we're packing the camper up, making sure everything's working properly, that we're not going to have any issues getting the camper closed up and ready for travel. Well, we relate his stress for that to another camper that we had that always had slide issues, always had jack issues, pulling the jacks up that stabilize it, for people who don't RV. But so his anxiety is that something on the camper is not going to work the way it's supposed to, for us to physically be able to close it up, pack it up, to start traveling down the road. So I understand his stress level, so I keep him calm, because in my mind, I don't know, something my dad said a long time ago is, those are just things can be fixed. You know, whenever we get in a car accident or whatever, we'd be freaking out, oh, Dad's gonna kill us, we wrecked the car, oh my gosh. And Dad would go, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, but the car looks terrible. The car can be fixed, the car can be replaced, you cannot be replaced. So that just sticks in my mind when Elliot gets all frustrated about all these mechanical issues. Those things can be fixed. It's okay, that can be fixed. And my anxiety, once we get all closed up and packed up and in travel mode and driving down the road, his stress level seems to go down, which is wonderful because he's the driver, right? So I'm the passenger, and sometimes my anxiety level gets elevated, especially when we get in a high traffic situation, and then I frustrate him. So I was trying to find a way to reduce my anxiety level, so that maybe this trip, because we have had so much going on in our lives, that maybe I could try to keep this trip, keep myself under control, and not have as much anxiety, so that I didn't frustrate him while we're traveling. So I'd been looking into several options, whether there was an essential oil blend I could use, whether there was some CBD gummies or something that I could get. And this campground worker's daughter said, why do you think you have that anxiety? She said, have you been in like a bad car accident before? Have you been, what do you think that's happened in your life that has given you that anxiety? So I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know right off. I've been in several car accidents, but I've never been in a major one, like where I broke a bone or got sent to the hospital or anything traumatic like that. They were all, that I didn't physically get harmed. So I told her, I said, the only thing I can think of is when I was a teenager, so I went all the way back to high school. I said, so when I was a teenager, I was at a party with my date. My date drove. My date got so drunk that he passed out underneath a tree in the parking lot. And I thought, how am I going to get home? And so I was going to drive his car home and send somebody back to get him, or try to get him in the car and drive the car home. Well, his car was a stick shift, and I didn't know how to drive a stick shift. So that wasn't an option. So I ended up having to find a ride home from this party. And I did, and everything was fine, and I just brushed it off like, life lesson learned, don't worry about it, you're fine, nothing happened, everything's okay. But apparently it must have impacted me pretty good, because I've always told my children, you're not going to have this same issue that I had. When they learned how to drive, I made sure every last one of them knew how to drive a stick shift. I said, I don't want you to ever be at a place where you couldn't leave or drive a vehicle to get yourself to a safe place or home. So evidently it impacted me pretty good for me to feel that way and to pass it on to my children, because that's one thing she said. She said, so you passed that on to your children? And I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I did. And I didn't even realize that that had been traumatizing to me, but apparently it did if it's had all this impact on me. And I'm closing in on 60. So, you know, I talk about it and I say stuff about it, you know, make comments about it before to friends and family and stuff like that. But I never really thought about it having an impact on my life and causing me anxiety. I never correlated the two. Then she asked me another question. She said, and since it's still bothering you to this day, this whole thing, she said, did you ever forgive that person for what they did and causing you that anxiety? That was powerful to me, because I never even thought about that being something that I should forgive somebody for. I didn't even know that I had that built up resentment for that person, and that evidently I never let it go because it's impacted me my whole life to the point that I passed it on to my children. But it just really hit home with me. How many things in our lives that we thought were insignificant, that we just thought, no big deal, we got through it, we lived through it, it didn't impact me in any way. How many things in our lives have happened that we haven't even recognized that made us who we are today? So I thought about it. I thought, oh wow, I didn't even think that I've been holding on to that, and that if I forgive him for doing this, then maybe I can release and let go of some of that anxiety. So I started having more self-reflection, which seems to be the year of 2024 is going to be Cindy's year of self-reflection, I guess, because it has been so far. But yeah, it was just interesting to me. So I started thinking about this more. So why would I have so much anxiety when Alec and I are traveling in the motorhome? Because I didn't have this when we were traveling in the Jeep together. When we had to leave here quickly, go back to South Carolina, and then come back here, I didn't have this level of anxiety. But whenever we get in the motorhome to travel, I have this anxiety. So I started doing more self-reflection last night and really thinking about this, and I tend to do it at night at like 3 o'clock in the morning when I wake up in the middle of the night. And I started thinking, I think it's because I've never really driven the motorhome. I've driven it like twice, but in the occasion that I did drive it, we were on a highway that didn't have a lot of traffic on it. Alec pulled the motorhome off to a rest area. I got in the driver's seat. I merged back onto the interstate, drove for maybe 30 miles, pulled back off into a rest area. We switched seats, went on about the day. Okay, so that was driving, technically, driving the motorhome, but it was more in a controlled fashion. And I guess some of my anxiety is from not having the confidence to know that if in an emergency situation, I could drive the motorhome, get us to where we needed to be, and pull in safely. I don't know, maybe that's something we'll work on. Although it gives Alec a lot of anxiety for me to drive the motorhome, because he has to be in control of the vehicles. Whenever our entire life, even when we were dating, I never drove. If we were together, he drove. It's still that way till this day. If we're in the Jeep together, he drives. The only time I drive the Jeep is when he is not with me. It's just a thing he has. And I correlate it to him being a police officer and needing to be in control of the situation at all times. I don't know if that's really the truth or not, but you know, maybe there is some truth to it. But I can only self-reflect on myself and the issues I've got going on and what I'm doing. So that's something I'm going to be working on. I just wanted to do this video because I thought, you know, some of us may not realize how a simple incident back in high school made an impact on us and caused us anxiety. And we've just never taken the time to think about it in that way. It has given me, and I did forgive that person last night for doing that. I'm trying to let go of that. But, you know, that's easier said than done sometimes. I mean, you know, it's easy to give lip service and say, oh, I did that, da-da-da-da, when internally you may not necessarily have done that. So that's another thing we need to think about and work on. But I just wanted to put that out there that, you know, you may have something going on that stems from a simple thing that you just wrote off in your life as not being very impactful, but apparently it was for me. And I just thought I would share that. And to all those girls, let's go back to high school. I never had long hair in high school or ever in my childhood. This is the longest my hair has ever been in my entire life, okay? I always kept short haircuts. At the most, it would get down to my shoulders, okay? This being this long, never in my life have I had my hair this long. To all of those girls back in high school who had the beautiful long flowing hair, who used to grab all their hair and pull it around to one side of your neck, and I thought you were just trying to be prissy and cute, I now get it, okay? I catch myself pulling all my hair, and especially when the wind's blowing, so it's not all going in my face, pulling it over to one side and draping it over my shoulder. I'm sorry. I guess I was jealous and I was being judgmental. Sorry about that. I need to forgive. Y'all need to forgive me for that, because I did think it was just a cutesy little thing that they were doing to get attention. Apparently not. It's a thing, because now that I have long hair, I catch myself doing it. Just a side note there. I apologize. I hope y'all are having a great day. We are here at Rockport, Texas. It's a beautiful day. Sun shining. It's gorgeous outside. Let me see if I can switch the camera and show you what I'm looking at. I hope y'all can hear me, because the wind is blowing fiercely. And of course, I'm technology challenged and I cannot get it to do it. So I'm just going to flip the camera around and show you. Isn't that gorgeous? Sitting out here on Salt Lake, here at the pool, just trying to enjoy the scenery. Love y'all. Hope y'all have a great day. do some self-reflection. It really is helpful, and it will calm your soul. Love y'all and hope to talk to you again soon. Bye.